Stats versus facts. Ayy, stats versus facts. Ayy, know where we at on the stats versus facts. Yeah, my boy, hella black. He black. On the stats versus facts. And you might get smacked by the stats versus facts. Ayy. Yo, what's going on, everybody? And welcome to Stats versus Facts Sports Talk. You know where we at. It's your boy Marsh, and I'm here with the crew. What's going on, crew?
What's going on? What's going
Hello,
on?
hello, hello. Cello.
Cello.
For you.
Yes, sir. We have a man, G Reg, still looking for that money. Yes,
Always
sir.
looking for that money.
Always looking for that money. You know it ain't funny. And that man, C Mac, back with the hat. They call him
Funny welder.
glasses, jacket, shirt man.
Man.
He's a comic.
Yeah. And today we're very excited, blessed to have today with us a special guest, my dad, Mr. Best. What's going on?
Glad to be here in Stats versus Facts with you fellas.
Oh yeah,
Thanks for the invite.
absolutely, absolutely. So, wanted to bring you in. We're going to start off with some news here. First, a little overview. Got some good football games going down for the weekend, so we'll talk about that. And really, really exciting MMA fight, round two, McGregor Poirier. So we'll also talk a little bit about that too. But I want to start here. So we had some sad news yesterday. The original home run king, Hank Aaron,
Still the
passed
home run
away.
king.
Still the home run king. Passed away at age 86. He had 755 career home runs, and he's still the leader in RBIs with 2620. Run RBIs, runs batted in. And I mean, he was a legend, man. That guy was a legend. First of all, playing through the times back in the 50s, 60s, through civil rights, and still performing at the highest level, you know, I mean, it was just amazing. So, Dad, you actually had a chance to meet Hank Aaron briefly, right?
I did.
Yeah, I mean, please share, about that because I know you were a baseball fan growing up.
It won't be as detailed as probably you would think because when I met him, I was only about 10 years old. And my dad took me to the Braves. They were Milwaukee before they came Atlanta in Houston Astros. And at the end of the game, I had my little Hank Aaron card, had a program, and they were coming out. I was hoping to meet him, guys, but I can still remember meeting him. He was coming through with a bunch of the teammates, and my dad was there. I don't know how I got to him. I said, Mr. Aaron, Mr. Aaron. He stopped. He smiled at me, and I held out my card and my pen, and he wrote in it. And he said, "What's your name?" And I said ML, because my nickname was ML for Marshall Larry. I didn't say Marshall. I just said ML. I said, "What?" My dad said, he said ML to ML. And I had it for a long time, and up until 1969, when the Hurricane Carla came, we lost our house and everything, all the cards. So we were devastated back then, and when I was in high school. But anyway, back to Mr. Aaron, and he spent a minute, signed it. He says, "I will listen to your father. You're gonna be a good young man." I kind of smiled, and he patted me, and he left. And later on, once I was in the track, you guys ever heard of Mel Pender? Different story. Anyway, he was an Olympian. He was my coach at West Point, but he was down in Georgia, and he knew Mr. Aaron, and Mel had stories about him how Hank had gone through and was a pioneer, and most of you can go on Google it and find it on Wikipedia. But just meeting him was just one of those things. I wasn't awe, but he was really nice, really, really friendly. He knew what he was doing, knew what he did, so he didn't have to try to laud it. And so I remember that vividly. And that's kind of my story of Hank Aaron.
Yeah, I mean that's an amazing story, and just to hear that from you, you know, obviously we have sports figures today, that a lot of us looked up to, growing up. I mean, you have LeBron, who's doing his thing, with the I Promise School, um, and speaking out for these social injustices.
Mhm.
We have Jalen Brown, who's a younger NBA player, up and coming, speaking out as well. In the NFL, I mean, you have certain guys. I know Deshaun Watson be one's role model. I guess for our generation, we had the Tim Duncans and the Kobe's and um, guys you could think of any more.
Tiger Woods.
Yeah, Tiger Woods, even Serena and Venus, for
Yeah.
the ladies. So it's very very unique and exciting when you get a chance to meet someone who is so athletically gifted, but they're also gifted as humanitarians. You know what I mean? Like it's something.
Listening to that, Marshall, what I found out, guys, and I know this is your podcast. Having seen, and you guys know what's going on in the country and what the folks of color have gone through and are still going through, and Willie Mays and Hank were supposed to be teammates, but when
Oh.
the Giants won it, Hank Braves offered him $50 a month more, so he went with the Braves. It's all
Mhm.
about the ducats.
Yeah.
But what comes to mind, and Marshall's mentioned these younger players now, is these folks broke barriers, the color barrier, and like I said, he's athletes. He was very athletic, and you can go back and Google it and about they call them the Negro Leagues and how
Mhm.
the guys, Satchel Paige and all those folks,
Mhm.
they were good, but that
Gibson.
shows the what was going on in the country. And not to get off, but knows what happened the past 4 years in the United States, and you've seen the undertone of what's been going on. Now, of course, you can have friends of all ethnicities, which we do, but when you look at the overall United States, uh, people of color have gone through some things, and those pioneers, Willie Mays, Hank Aaron,
Bill Russell,
and Bill Russell, those guys,
Ringo Dool,
you those folks,
but the other
and
folks,
you
yeah.
can name them all, but they did some things to broke barriers. 1968 Olympics, Tommy Smith, John Carlos. Remember the fist up in there?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Iconic picture. Well, my coach Mel Pender was there on the relay team that set the world's record, and I met John Carlos and I met Tommy Smith when I was at
Okay.
West Point. He got teams up there, and I was very fortunate to have an Olympic coach
Yeah.
as my coach to get me down to 9-3 and all those things. But anyway, uh,
Flying, sir.
well, I did all right. 6 flat in the 60, 9-3 in the 100, and 21, not 21 flat in the 200. But the point is, those guys, I was able to pick their brains for a moment, divest from Hank, and I asked them about why was this, and because when I first saw it, I was in high school, and I think, man, those guys did that, and I didn't understand because there weren't a lot of black folks where I grew up get into the military academy. West Point was it's an institution, but the whole bunch of brothers there, and they explained to me what was going on, and said, "Wow!" It was a shock to my system because where I grew up, I was sort of in a bubble. Only one black family in my town. That was us. So it was like 98% Hispanic, 9% Caucasian, and I say me. So growing up there, I just people were people. But as I got back, to the East Coast, I met all these folks, and uh, again, I give Hank Aaron his due, but there was a lot of other folks also that did the same thing from their own area, and they were fighting the struggle. But a lot of the mainstream media didn't show us that.
Yeah.
It's just whatever the media said. That's what people saw. Had a good buddy from Milwaukee. He grew up in an African American neighborhood. I grew up in South Texas, so different environments, different upbringing. But we came together as teammates and we talked about the differences. Whoa! And so I really give homage to Aaron Mays and all those came before that broke the barriers, the basketball area, the football, to give folks like LeBron and Kobe their chance to do their thing, make a ton of money.
Jordan,
But
yeah.
those folks, but they're all giving back. So as a black man in the United States, I do understand it's about people. Now I'm a Christian. I give God first, but you gotta, after Him, you gotta look out for your family. Learn as much as you can, read as much as you can, and you young brothers get together and share. And I digress. But anyway, I've had a chance to meet quite a few folks that have been trailblazers, and I have maybe one day I'll write my memoirs later on. Anyway,
I'll get it.
No,
Must
absolutely.
read.
Yeah, definitely a must read. Now, I did want to ask you why I have you here. This question too, and Greg, I want you to, if you can, to go first on this one. So, just hearing from what you were saying, everything
mhm,
we have right now, a guy by the name of Kyrie Irving, right, and he has done a lot of good things off the court, right,
mhm,
and he pretty much took off. Well, he was away from the Nets for about what 3 weeks and whatnot, and
Yeah.
there's been talk about maybe does he have any uh, mental or mental health issues, right? So I want to ask you, Greg, starting off, do you
On the
think
hot seat. Hot seat. Let's go.
do you think it's more of a Kyrie needs to play and still do the great things that he's done for different families, for the African American community and whatnot, or do you think he has a point of where you know sitting out and not coming to do your job?
I think it's important to recognize mental health and realize that, it's okay to say that you have an issue or a problem, or there's nothing wrong with that. And if you need time away from a situation, I think we as people should understand that. And he doesn't owe us an explanation of what's going on in his life. Like I don't need to know like all his, his whole life. I think he might owe, just let your employer know what's going on in the situation. I think, obviously people like, Willie Mays or Hank Aaron or people like that, they did things with class on top of it, professionalism on top of all the things they did. They wanted to be known as a great player on the court, but they also wanted to be known as a great human being. And it was important for them to do all these things, give back to what they, their people. So I think it's good that he's giving back with, basketball, and he's able to make a lot of change in basketball. And it's okay that he has, he needed mental health days, and that's fine. I don't think you should punish him and take away something that he loves and he's passionate about just because you may not understand it.
Right. I agree. C Mac.
Um, I think it's a tricky situation because some of the previous generation guys that we've mentioned, and even like the ones just before our generation, and like Shaq, Kobe, and stuff like that, they'll look at him like, oh, he needs to retire because he's not focused on his job, and they see him being able to step away and not really get fined, or he can continue to play as being like a luxury, and that's not a luxury that the previous generations had. And I think that's just a testament of like how far we've come as far as being African American, being able to play in the NBA where you're seen as equal and you have that ability. And he's one of the top players. So I think it's as with the Nets are okay with it and they understand what he's doing and he's doing off the court, then so be it, and doesn't owe us anything. But him balancing the social justice, I guess, like campaign that he's trying to continue and playing basketball, I think those are two very big things that I don't think he will be able to carry both at the same time. But if he wants to try and do it, we can't knock him for that, and we can only just be there and support him as he's trying to do both great things and break barriers and be a trailblazer.
I like it. I like it.
mhm.
Dan?
I listened to Greg and Chris. My take is I don't know as much about it as you guys probably, but what I see is, guys, remember the media. Just remember the media. Who controls the media and their take on things. Like I said, each of us have our own opinions. You see what you see. And I like Marshall having with you guys, and he gets into all the different sports. He keeps me up. I would say that, again, Shaq, Kobe, Kareem, Magic Johnson, those guys, they did their thing. And they, a lot of theirs is visibility, giving back. Who knows what was going on, like I said, behind the scenes in their mind. Tiger, he was, he had a lot of fame. He worked hard to get what he did, but he did his thing too. So, I take media with a grain of salt. I take what they say, and sometimes I watch Sports Center and watch Stephen A. and those guys. Stephen A.
Yeah, Stephen A. You're right.
And they make their points. And I said, okay, but it's all comes back down to, is he true to himself? If he's true to himself, I said, hey, go for it. I may not like it, but like you said, he didn't ask my opinion. He did what he needed to do.
Right.
And so I give those guys kudos when they go out and help folks. Some of it's visible, a lot of it's behind the scenes, but I just think that we just have to keep praying for them and let them go for it. Go for what you know.
Yeah.
That's my take.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, this is the way I look at it. So on top of playing basketball, right? They have I guess a media obligation, right? And kind of like how the way Marshawn Lynch, I'm gonna use this as an example. He just came and said, "I'm here, so I won't get fined." Right? He still showed up. Don't get me wrong. He still showed up. Now he may not have talked to them, but he still showed up. Kyrie and even KD, I believe, has done this in the past. If I'm not mistaken. They've kind of like didn't even want to show up. I think Kyrie called them all. Kyrie called them pawns, although that was taken out of context.
They're pawns.
And
They're pawns, yeah, for sure.
They're definitely pawns.
right. And my thing is, if he told the Nets, hey, I need to step away, right? Because I'm having, mental health issues, that's fine, right? As far as them letting the media know, it is a tricky situation because again, that's part of the obligation of the job, but at the same time, Greg, I agree with you. You don't need to know every single thing that's going on in his life. Now, if he didn't let the Nets know, and he just said he has to take personal days. I mean, in a normal job, you have some personal days because obviously you build up time, but at the same time, you have to be accountable to be back and kind of let your team know something, right? And let your employer know something. So I didn't particularly like that part, but he's back with the team. He's balling. If he has the mental health issues, you know, if he comes out and talks about it too, that helps. Kevin Love has done it. I think who else was it? There's few other NBA players that came
DeMar
out.
DeRozan.
Yeah, DeMar DeRozan, and they spoke about it, and that we're helping to advance the understanding of mental health issues and how to help people. So whether he wants to speak upon it, if he does or does not, that's on him. But definitely to balance out your job and then what you're working on as far as the social justices and trying to balance the two off. Your job is what's paying you and also kind of giving you that platform to be able to help out with all those social injustices and whatnot and help out families and this, that, and the other. And, to be able to become one of those trailblazers. So yeah, you have to be able to balance out both. So that's my kind of take on it.
And one quote that I love, and I think
go ahead.
Greg will know this, by young Harvey Dent.
Oh.
You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become a villain.
Bars.
Yeah. Bars. Well, yeah, that's
It's just tricky, man. When you have something that's on your heart like that, and you just feel torn about something, and you just, and I can't even imagine, seeing certain things in this world. We read history books or we hear people talk about the past, and we really didn't go through stuff like that, you know. And then to see things that are happening in this world and United States, what's going on, you know, to be privy to that, it's a lot on your heart, man. It's a lot on your soul to see that. It makes you sad at times, man.
It does.
Mhm.
Let me speak to that, Greg, because I'm an older guy, and so I got drafted for Vietnam in 1969, but I didn't have to go because I got appointed to West Point the next year.
Mhm.
So all those things, you know, born in '52, so all those things that you mentioned that you guys haven't seen, I lived it.
Yeah.
You know, when went to a national track meet in high school, came to San Antonio, won, went to Tennessee. I always remember this. We went, a whole bunch of us in the cafeteria, one of those IHOP or something, maybe then I don't know, at the counter, big burly weight men, and we sat down to eat, and they got served, and I'm sitting there looking, and they took menu. And I said, "Excuse me," I said, "May I have a menu?" And the waiter's going to give me one. And the guy said, "We don't serve your kind." And the big old, I always remember his name was Charlie Ostrand. He's like, I don't know, he's big. And he said, I'll turn this SOB out. You're going to serve him. And all of a sudden, but 4 or 5 weight guys came up and they quit. It wasn't a riot, but you know, I didn't get served, but they left. So we went someplace else and ate. So I've been seeing that face-to-face discrimination. Been down in the South going with my dad through one of the southern towns, and my dad was delivering an animal for King Ranch. So I said, "Can I use the restroom?" He said, "Yeah, there's a hole around back." And this is a grown man telling my father, "There's a hole around back." And I'm like 12 years old, like, what? So I, I saw it, but I didn't realize it till I got older. I said, "Oh, that's what this is about." So, so yeah, there's a lot of stuff, and so things that we won't get into the podcast, get away from the sports. But a lot of these sports guys that lived it because they were older than me, and they would live between all black community and having certain places, or live in the South, live in the North, and I said, wow. Then I got a big eye opener at West Point, being able to be a decent athlete and see these folks and be with Olympians and other people, and I said, whoa. And don't let anybody kid you. There's as much racism in North as there is in the South. And though there's still good people out there, I said, I'm a Christian, you know, God's first, but you got to know that, hey, when you like I like Shrek, so you peel back that onion.
Yeah.
Onion.
The onions have layers.
People are just like onions.
That's right. So it's like onions. So anyway,
Cake got layers. Ogres are not like cake.
yeah.
No.
So I give these guys kudos and things that you guys are doing, talking about it and listening to it. Marshall talks to me and different things. I think it's great. And as you go, you're going to find other folks that you meet that maybe somebody doesn't share your same skin color, or ethnicity, or background. If they'll talk to them. Just going to see where they're coming from. Just kind of
Yeah.
get not pick their brain, but kind of let them see what you want them to see, but kind of see where they're coming from. You might be surprised.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's a good advice for everybody.
Really, really good.
We could take the time to get to know one another and see the similarities rather than the differences.
Exactly. I do
Maybe
that
we
every
can make
day.
some headway.
Absolutely. Yeah. This is best. Hey, y'all, this is best advice. So y'all hashtag best advice, man. Now,
And he was
before you-
fast.
Yeah, and he was. He can still
Not
probably
forget
beat
that.
me.
Let's not forget that.
He still probably beat me today. Seriously.
No, I can't not anymore. He got me. Yeah.
Well, before we leave, we're gonna segue into this next topic. I want 2 predictions on scores from you for the games on
Saturday
Sunday.
and Sunday.
I think they're both Sunday.
No, AFC Saturday and NFC Sunday.
I think they're both on the same day.
Oh, yeah, they're both on Sunday.
Yeah, they're both on Sunday. One's at.
Are you sure?
One's
Sometimes
at.
they do it Saturday and Sunday.
One's
Go
at.
back. Oh,
I thought this year they're doing the AFC Saturday.
Oh, I'm gonna have to double check that.
Tampa Bay versus Green Bay is at 2 on Sunday on
Sunday.
Fox, and then
Yeah.
Buffalo and Chiefs are at 5:40 on Sunday,
Yeah.
and CBS.
Oh, you
One
sure?
day a punch.
Yeah, they're there.
I stand corrected.
Back to back.
I stand corrected.
Almost got us, Mr. Best.
Just want to see if you guys are paying attention. I can tell you who's going to win each game.
Okay, tell us who's going to win and give me a score. Give me a score for each game. Buccaneers, Packers.
The team with the highest points.
Oh,
sir.
Is going to win the game. Am I not correct?
It's old school knowledge right there.
Old school.
Old school knowledge.
For Buccaneers, Packers, just pick one. Who you got and what's the score?
That's tough. I believe. See, people, when I'm thinking about defense, when the defense steps up, it makes it tough when everybody else in between Packers defense and Bucks defense. My heart goes with the Bucks, but I'm going to have to pick the Packers.
With the score of
a couple of turnovers.
I'm gonna write these down, by the way.
A couple of turnovers and pick six. Packers win. I'll probably be totally wrong.
You might be right.
I don't think so.
Because we had somebody that was right for the 4 games it was last week.
Packers win 35-28.
That might actually be right. That might. And they're at Lambeau Field. The Packers are a 3.5 point favorite. And then for you,
I didn't know that.
No, you're good. The other one,
Bills
Chiefs, Kansas City is a 3.5 or 3 point favorite. They're playing in Kansas City. Mahomes will be available for the game as well.
Available. And who's the backup?
Henny. But I think Mahomes will probably start in play. I know he's got the toe injury as well.
I believe that the beginning of the game, Bills defense is going to tighten down, but at the end of it,
I agree with that.
It'll be Chiefs 27, Bills 24.
Sounds about right.
Okay, I like it.
That's just out of my hip pocket.
I like it because seriously, you might be right. You might be right.
But don't put no money on it.
We're not a betting show. Well, Dad, we thank you. Mr. Vest, we thank you very much.
Thanks, Heaven Marshall. Greg, Chris, appreciate it.
Was a pleasure, sir.
Guys, and keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you,
sir.
Absolutely. All right.
Good night.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
I'm not that old, telling me good night, but
I was like, have a good night.
Oh man. Well, we thank Mr. Best for being on. Guys, we can hop right into the NFL, fellas. I'm getting these scores down. That's what I should have had for last week. But, I like those for 35-28 and then the Chiefs 27-24. I like those predictions. Greg, Packers 3.5 point favorite. Who you got?
Man, this is tough, man, because Vita Vea is coming back for the Pack for Tampa Bay. They should be able to stop Aaron Jones, but I just think Rodgers is just better than Brady, man.
At this point. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then Antonio Brown's out.
Oh, he is out.
Yeah, his knee.
I thought for some reason I was thinking he was cleared.
No, he's out.
Yeah, that might change some things, man.
It depends if the Bucks can run the ball, they'll have a chance. But otherwise, I think obviously turnovers make a big difference too. Let's go Green Bay. You said they're 3.5 favorites, right?
3.5 point favorites, yes.
I think it's going to be a low scoring game. 27-24.
Okay. I like it. C Mac, go ahead.
Rodgers or Brady? I don't know, man. I just don't really see Brady taking the L that often. And you guys are saying Rodgers is MVP right here, but I don't believe he's an MVP. So I'm gonna go Brady. 27-21.
27-21. Okay.
You worship at the altar of Brady. It seems like
Yes.
in Brady we trust.
Okay.
Brady, we trust.
It's you don't want. I mean, it's fair, man. You don't really. It's hard to bet against Brady, right?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it really is. Guys, I think that Ndamukong Suh is going to put that pressure on Aaron Rodgers.
PTSD.
Yep.
Now he's got his running mate Vita Vea back too next to him.
So I'm thinking that the Buccaneers defense will give Rodgers some problems. He'll have an interception, maybe two. And ultimately, even though Antonio Brown is out, I think Mike Evans will step up. I think Brate may step up. And then Gronkowski will have either a touchdown or two because he tends to love thriving in these big games. So I'm looking at the Buccaneers probably winning this game by a score of 30-17. That is my prediction.
Tampa Bay's defense just runs wild.
Yeah.
They got a chance, man. Their running game has picked up in the playoffs. It was one of their worst things during the season.
With Jones and Fournette, yeah. So that's what I'm looking at with that. Now for the Chiefs versus the Bills, Bills being a 3-point favorite. C-Mac, go ahead with that one.
All right. So the Bills and the Chiefs, man. I want to go Bills Mafia on this one. I might throw myself into a table after this Sunday. I don't think Austin Mahomes has got it.
He's the Austin Mahomes boy.
Austin Mahomes gonna be singing the blues after Sunday. I think it's gonna be a close one, 24-18.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Bills 24-18. Got it.
Singing tomorrow on Sunday.
All right. I'm gonna go with the Bills. I think they're gonna get their opportunity to go back to the Super Bowl for the first time in like 25 years or something like that. And Mahomes also has that toe injury, so we got to see how he's gonna look with that. If they had Sammy Watkins out there, I might be inclined to say the Chiefs because I mean that doesn't have a lot of weapons. Even though Hardman is good, obviously we know Tyreek Hill is good. Their running game is the if they would have still had Kareem Hunt, I think we would be looking at a team that would be going for their three-peat in Super Bowl championships. I really, really do. But they just don't have a running game right now. Unless Le'Veon decides, oh, I'm gonna be the Le'Veon old. I think it's gonna be a tough one. And the Chiefs defense isn't the greatest. So I think Diggs might have a pretty decent day. As long as Josh Allen doesn't have a bad fourth quarter turnover, because I think that the Chiefs will be leading up through the fourth quarter, and I think the Bills will have the ball late. I'm gonna have the Bills pull this game out like 22-21.
22-20.
And Greg.
Man, I want to go Bills so bad. Like you
Do
said, Mahomes bad foot, but it's like Chris going against Brady. Man, it's just hard to go against the Chiefs.
Do it.
Sammy Watkins might be back. Clyde Edwards-Helaire might be back.
Do it.
Give in to the dark side.
Mahomes got that foot coming off, concussion.
Don't let him get sacked. You might get another one.
Bills will look terrible though, but they played good defenses in the Colts and the Ravens, and then you have the weather with the Ravens too.
Yeah, depends if they can get that Allen to Diggs going. Bro, pick the Bills. Pick the Bills. Pick them.
I just can't, man. I just can't go with the Chiefs, especially if y'all already picked them. I'm like, I'll hit my bet and go against them.
All right, somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, I'll go Kansas City. It's gonna be a close one because their defense is not good. Let's go 30-27
Mm.
Chiefs.
Who kicking the Chiefs kick field goal to win?
Yeah.
I'll say go with this so we can make that man Marquise sad. I want him sad, man. Marquise is too happy.
People, the things you want to do to your friends, man.
Hey, love Marquise. Marquise is my boy. But I want him sad. He's too happy. The Lakers and the Chiefs, no.
Also,
Y'all
I don't
got
want to see the
all the-
Bills in the Super Bowl. Like,
I do.
I do. The
Be
Bills versus
insane.
Brady. Brady probably gonna win another one, man.
I want to see that.
I don't know.
I mean,
Bills might win the Super Bowl.
Wouldn't you rather see Mahomes versus Rodgers or Mahomes versus Brady?
well, Mahomes versus
Honestly.
Rodgers would definitely be an exciting matchup because you would really see Aaron Rodgers probably take the best quarterback in the league back. Probably. That's what I'm
Can you
thinking.
imagine he dethrones Pat Mahomes, wins the MVP? What a great year that would be.
You could. They're just not gonna beat the Bucks.
It'd be his best year.
I was thinking
since-
Milwaukee Bucks. I was like, what? Giannis? What does Giannis have to do with anything?
Giannis had to do with anything. Yeah, man. So these are predictions, man. These are our predictions. So we will see what happens, and we'll give y'all our reactions to the games after. Well, not directly after, but upon the next show. All right, I got these down, man. Let's see.
The Bible. Official.
All right. Well, moving on. We'll move into some NBA stuff. 15 years ago on this day, Kobe Bryant dropped 81 points on the Toronto Raptors, in which I'm pretty many of you have seen the commercial where he's sitting in the restaurant. Hey, Jalen, talk about Jalen Rose. And then he comes up, gonna order martini. How many olives? 81. Nah, I'm just messing. It's a joke. He gets it. He's tortured him. Hey, asking you guys, where were y'all? Did y'all watch this game live when it happened? What were y'all reactions to when you saw, the 81 points drop? Because I remember exactly where I was.
Well, I definitely wasn't watching it. I'm not watching the Raptors versus Lakers on a Monday
In 2006.
in 2005, 2006 season. I was
Mm,
worried about the Spurs.
right.
So I definitely didn't watch it live. I think I remember catching Sports Center highlights at the end of the night about it. That was my introduction to it.
I heard about it the day after because it was on NBA TV out here, so I wasn't able to watch it.
Right. Guys, back then, I actually I didn't really watch Sports Center back then. I used to watch ESPN News because it used to just give you the highlights and then only the highlights. And I think they would do some top plays. And I didn't really like all that show, this, that, the other, the commercials, blah, blah, blah. I just wanted to see all the highlights, and the scores would come back so much quicker than they would for Sports Center. So I remember ESPN News popped up, and I was looking at it, and I was like, oh, what, did Kobe have like another 40-point game? Because I didn't know what happened. And all of a sudden I saw the score go up, and I said, oh, shoot. I said, he had 50? I said, 60? I said, this man had 70? And then I saw it said 81. I said, you heard the pop up. I was shocked. I was like, he had 81 points. I said, what the heck? And it wasn't like, it was close. It wasn't, okay. They beat him by what, like 18 points or something like that in the end, but he was just giving it to him. And now just thinking about it and how special it is, I'm like, the last time somebody dropped, 60 plus or something like that, or even 70 and won, obviously Clay when he dropped that 60, but Devin Booker dropped 70 and they lost. You know what I mean? And then Kobe dropped 60 in his final game, which was obviously special as well. And they ended up winning that. But like 81 points, man, I don't know if we'll ever see somebody drop 80 again. Because normally if somebody does drop 50, if they even drop 50, it's in a close game in overtime or something like that. 60, what Clay did, they were killing them already. So I mean, it was just so special. It really
Yeah, I
was.
thought it was unique because you thought, well, no one's going to touch 100 or get close,
Yeah,
and
Yeah,
yeah,
then
that's super
and then you're
off.
like, it's definitely not going to be a guard that does it.
yeah,
But then have Kobe a guard do it, you know, it's and then the other thing that was shocking was that he only had 26 at halftime.
yeah,
I think that was a lot shocking to me when I saw that. I was like, oh,
yeah. I mean, you know, even relatively close to that was when David Robinson dropped 70, was it 70, 71 to win the scoring title?
yeah,
Which that in itself is funny. Because it was between him and Shaq, and he edged him out. I was like,
yeah.
damn. It's,
Seeing that story was rough. I was like,
yeah,
dang.
yeah. But definitely cool, definitely cool. Well, as far as NBA games, I got to start off with the Spurs. Took a little bit of a road bump the last couple of games. The Warriors really stuck it to them. That was a rough game. It was a rough game to watch. What was that 116.99, 115.99,
Pull it up, Chris.
something along those lines. We'll talk about it more on Spurs versus everybody, but they
Got
lost that
shellacked.
lost
It
that
was
one
121.99. Yep.
121.99. Ooh, yeah, that was bad. That was bad. Then also took a loss this evening to the Mavericks, 122 to 117. Luca went off for 38. Yeah, it was tough. Or 36, excuse me. It's a couple of tough losses for the Spurs that have kind of knocked them from being fifth down to eighth, but they are competing. They just don't have the talent this year.
Yeah.
That's
The
just
boy
kind of
DeRozan dropped 29.
he did drop 29, and Aldridge had 26. Obviously, Murray got hurt, so we got to see how long he's going to be out with the ankle
Yeah.
injury. But um, it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, just as a fan, you want them to be able to compete and have a chance, and then you just see what they're deficient in, and you're like, oh, man, I don't. And then to be hurt, having a couple guys, especially Derek White, be out, it's
Yeah.
just like you just want a healthy team, and then be able to, compete, and then you could see what the healthy team looks like,
Right.
so they don't have to compete,
Right.
with one hand behind your back, practically.
Yeah, absolutely right. But I do want to say this. So since that man Kyrie Irving came back, oh, Brooklyn's going to the finals. No, they may not. They lost. First of all, Colin Sexton put the Cavaliers on his back and dropped 42
Sexland.
and 20. No, half of that wasn't even there. Garland
Half of
didn't even play.
Sexland.
Yeah, it was just the
Still
sex.
Sexland though.
He dropped 42 against the Nets, including 22 straight for the Cavs, and they beat them in the first game of that. I guess what do you
Back
call
to
it?
back.
Back to back.
Doubleheader.
Yeah, same game in the same gym, I guess if you want to call it. That one was 147
back.
to 135 in double overtime. Even though yes, Kyrie had 37 and Durant had 38. Kyrie was 15 to 28. Durant was 12 to 25. Harden had 21 and he was only 6 of 14. So it's just like, dang, he already out there shooting a lot and they lost. Well, they played the Cavs again tonight and lost again, 125 to 113. Even though Durant didn't play, we get it. Kyrie was 14 to 24, had 38 points, and Harden only had 19. But then, I mean, who else is scoring for you? You had Green with 13. Luau Cabarro had 11. Harris only had 8. I mean, it just shows that they just don't have the consistency and a good bench to really win these type of games in my eyes. So just your thoughts on from you guys. What do y'all think? I mean, it's only 2 games. It's early. It's early. It's early, guys. I get it. But to go to the finals, they're gonna have to play a hell of a lot of minutes. I don't know if they're gonna have enough legs to carry them to the finals, let alone win it. So what do you guys think?
See, Mac?
To be honest, they're gonna get to the Eastern Conference Finals
Okay,
most likely.
fair.
The East not being that crazy deep, it's not going to be a cakewalk, but I think it'll probably go to Game 7 to go to the finals, and I think they'll be able to outdo it on a Game 7, especially Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving with that experience, and Kevin Durant not usually losing in a Game 7, but
Except to the Warriors.
he has, yes. So I mean, like it was up against LeBron James, so man, he's not going up against LeBron James. So
Well, or Steph Curry.
yeah.
So-
I mean, to get to the finals, I think they'll be able to. In the finals, that's a different story.
Yeah. Hey, if they got to go up against like a Philly with Joel Embiid balling the way he is, man, that's all I'm gonna
I
say.
don't know.
Go ahead, Greg.
I think they're watching the games. I think there is a concern about their, how they fit together offensively. First of all, offensively, you see the ball movement. You see Kyrie kind of like hold the ball a little too much. Does likes to dance a little bit too much. The ball movement is not really flowing like it should be. Probably, I think they need to work that out. I think it's more like a Heat situation where not all the pieces fit perfectly, unlike the Golden State issue, with Durant going there, it was just a perfect fit.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is more of a Heat situation where everybody has to figure out how to work together and get it, to work together.
Right.
And then defensively, there's obviously major concerns. Late in the game, they were just giving wide open threes, layups. Kyrie's did not look good defensively.
A couple of steals, but he just got gassed.
Yeah, and at the center position, DeAndre Jordan's not what he used to be. So I don't think he can hold up. And there's concerns about running into a team like Philly, even the Pacers. I mean, you've seen the Cavs be able to control. I mean, they have two big men. Could they slow the game down enough and get easy enough baskets at the rim and offensive rebound for them?
Yeah.
You see the Cavs. The Cavs are really good. I mean, the Cavs share the ball. They're a team effort. They control their defensive team too.
Yeah.
So I mean,
by the way,
there are teams that give them concern if they don't fix this roster and work on their chemistry.
Right. By the way, Larry Nance hit a couple of big shots the other night for the Cavs. So obviously that was good to see. I mean, tonight both Lance and Drummond had double-digit rebounds. So I mean, they're it's tough to compete with those guys. Jared Allen had 19 off the bench, which that should have never let go. And Garland had 11 off the bench on his game back. And Prince is another one they shouldn't let go. He wasn't even playing. Now he's getting minutes with the Cavs, and I think that's a boost that they needed. They needed a guy who could kind of be a sixth man for them, along with Allen, coming off the bench. So, yeah, the Cavs could make that run to the playoffs. First time ever being in the playoffs without LeBron, and man, long time.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really a real favorite where you feel confident about, like, oh, this team. Everybody has a little bit of problems, right?
Of course.
Does Sixers, they play tremendous defense and Embiid's going off, but can he stay healthy? Can he carry this through the playoffs? And do they have enough scoring?
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of teams you just look at, like the Celtics, they don't have any inside presence.
At all.
Can they do it with Tatum, Brown, and Kemba
for a while?
And will Kemba stay healthy?
Exactly. A good thing is Jaylen Brown has been hooping, even though they did lose to Philly tonight. Embiid had 38 and 11. Jaylen Brown had 42. So he has been balling out. There's questions. There could be some questions now whose team it is. Although I still say
Embiid's.
No. I'm talking about the Celtics.
Oh, Celtics
between Brown and Tatum.
They're good. They're good friends.
Because I think that they are. I think they're fine. You
just wonder how that all matches. Like, are you gonna have Tatum play the power forward, so you can put Kemba and Marcus Smart together? Does Kemba throw off the balance between all three of them?
Right. That is a very.
Do they have enough bench to come through?
Very, very good question. Now I do want to ask y'all this too. Do you guys think that Ben Simmons, they need to just let him go because he doesn't seem like he is progressed offensively? because he hasn't gotten any better offensively. I still think he's a good defender for sure, and he's still a good facilitator. But offensively, he hasn't gotten better.
Mhm.
So what are your thoughts on that, man?
I mean, anybody can be traded just for the right pieces, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it depends. I mean, I personally think they can win a championship with Embiid and Ben Simmons. Obviously, you want Ben Simmons. I mean, you're 6'10", you have speed, you have athleticism. You should be able to get you, 16, 18 points just on layup, putbacks,
Right,
certain things like that. I mean, it shouldn't be that hard for you to do that. I mean, you
right,
do question, does this guy really want to win? Does he really want to be the best he can be? He just kind of does his thing and kind of like, okay, we're good. But I
right.
mean, he plays, he's a chess piece that it's harder. I mean, to have a 6'10" player that can lock down a power forward, you know, a small forward, can switch on guards. I mean, they could even like eventually, if they get, creative enough, they can even like in the second unit play him at center and just run people. I mean,
Possibly.
the limit, it just will everything put together. Will they be able to get the right pieces together and make this championship and make a championship? This thing is, I don't know.
Yeah. This would be a year that they could do it. Uh, they have some shooting with Curry. Maxi's come on, even though they've kind of cut his minutes down, which I don't think they need to do that. I think you need to continue to play him. And
I think you have to
uh,
be careful with rookies though. They hit that rookie wall. Their
true.
legs and their body. Just you got to be careful about how much you expose them to.
That's true. True, true. C-Mac, your thoughts?
No, I definitely think they should keep him. He's a good fit for the team. I mean, he dropped 11 assists, 15 points this past night. I mean, surrounding him with Danny Green and Seth Curry, it's a good addition. I mean, I think they probably got a year or two with him, and if it doesn't work out, then they'll probably try to look at trades. I think they're probably already looking at trades and seeing, that's probably what they're
They
doing.
almost give them the Harden trade.
Yeah. So I mean, they're open to it, but I think that the value that he provides for them and his consistently on like growing very small increments
Mm-hmm.
has kept them hesitant about doing the trade and fully sending the trade.
Right.
And selfishly, as a basketball lover, you would love for them to be on separate teams and have their own teams built around them.
Yeah.
You have Ben Simmons in a high-powered, fast transition offense where he can get on space and have people around him that are shooters. And the same thing in Embiid, you just want a slow down game that you give him the ball all the time, and then he has shooters around him.
Choose Ben Simmons' best place. Uh, Obviously, this will not happen, but the best place for him to have that type of offense that you're talking about, Portland. Portland. Because Dame, CJ, you have Gary Trent Jr. out there, shooters. I mean, I can't say Golden State because they already have that, but Portland, I would say Portland would be one of the best places for him to be.
I would love Golden State for him. That'd been great.
Oh, without a doubt, you would love Golden State. I mean, he would just pretty much replace what Draymond is, But
I don't see
other than,
what's like. Get that he can't shoot threes, right? But I'm not trying to make this jump. But Magic Johnson wasn't really a 3-point shooter, right?
he wasn't.
And this dude's almost averaging a triple-double this year.
Right. But the thing is, at least Magic would still take jumpers. Ben Simmons doesn't even take jumpers. That's the issue. He needs to start taking a jumper. Like at least do something to where like if they throw it to you, you can knock down, 15 foot or get to your spot and then knock down,
I don't even care about that really. I mean, the fact that he doesn't shoot it is kind of alarming, like a mental thing. Like if there's a mental block or just like he's scared to take a jump shot, that's something that you could be worried about. But no, you can learn how to do well without a jumper, man. You can attack the backboards, get put backs, you can drive to the lane at will.
Right.
I mean, there's things you can do to offset that to make you efficient.
Right.
Magic Johnson's fourth year, he was averaging 16 points, 10 assists, and 8 rebounds, right?
Like, what is his average right now?
His average right now, 12 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists.
That's not, I mean, he should be able to get 16, 18 points in his sleep just on hustle, athleticism. He's
exactly.
6'10". He's like he's 2 inches, he's an inch taller than LeBron.
Yeah,
And maybe not as fast as LeBron, but it's in the
damn
category.
near. Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. It doesn't seem like he's gotten better. I mean, defensively, sure, but offensively, it does not seem like he's gotten better. Yeah, he actually seems like he's regressed a little bit. So I need some type of jump shot from Ben Simmons before I'm just like, okay, I was on the bandwagon last year. I thought they could at least make the finals on that weird, bubble
Nah, not with
season.
that team.
With that bubble season, I thought they could have done it, but obviously Simmons got hurt. Now I'm just like, they have shooters around him, but it's like, Ben, you have to shoot, man. That 3-pointer that he took, that he airballed the other day, it just looked all off. It looked all.
If I was
I
a
think they
coach,
can win
I
the
would tell him
champion-
stop shooting. Stop shooting. Don't stop. Just get to the basket, make plays, get rebounds.
Who's
You don't.
stopping you at 6'10"?
We don't need you to shoot. We don't need you to shoot. Stop.
We've all seen the videos where he's just going to the hoop and dunking in the gyms like
You seen
nothing.
him when he was being creative,
Do that.
turning around, shooting 3-pointers, and it looked good. But at least have something where you can back them down and hit a turnaround. It's just
I don't need
something
all
like
that.
that.
We don't need that. Stop. Don't,
Yeah.
don't ask him to do that. No. You keep asking him and he's not doing it. Just stop asking. Just be like, hey, you're getting almost a triple double. Can you increase?
Yeah.
Can you get 4 more layups?
Yeah. Can we get 16, 18 points consistently?
Yes. I mean, he's been averaging 16. So
They're winning a championship if the Danny Green position is better. If that was Gary Trent, for instance, someone like that, they would be a championship contender for sure.
Right. But I mean, they could be a championship contender if Ben starts shooting. If Ben starts shooting some jumpers, bro,
stop asking him to shoot jumpers.
just listen to me.
No.
You become more of a threat. That's the thing, and that's my whole thing with DeRozan. If you're shooting jumpers, you're becoming more of a threat. If you're not going to shoot a jumper, you got dudes that are sitting way back in the paint off you because they know you're not going to shoot the daggone ball. So they pretty much can double team somebody because you're not going to do that. And if you try driving into the paint, somebody can step in and take a charge, or they can stop you. He's got to do something to be more of a weapon. He has to be a threat. That's my issue. If he becomes more of a threat, whether he makes them or not, some of those will start going in. You got to shoot the ball. You have to shoot the ball. Even though Rondo, didn't shoot a lot, he still shot some and became a threat. You saw what happened with the Lakers run. Rondo was knocking down threes. He was a threat. You could not leave him open. Everybody thinks it's Rondo. He's not going to shoot. Okay, splash. Ben Simmons don't have that at all. So we need to see that, or else you got to go, bro. I'm sorry.
To replace him, you have to get a 3-and-D wing. That's a must. I'm not trading him for a scorer then your defense is screwed.
Right. No, I agree.
So it's very rare. I mean, what are you going to find for him that's going to make you still a championship player and a championship team?
I mean,
like, do you take your chances with Tobias Harris at small forward?
No. And I think you need to get Tobias. Obviously, I said Tobias got to go. Y'all should have never they should have never let Jimmy Butler walk, right?
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to possibly look in the draft. If not, one of these young guys, I don't know who, do you maybe take a chance and bring in maybe an Ingram if he's unhappy in New Orleans, bring him in. I mean, he's gonna play defense. He can knock down shots
he's not a
too.
good defender.
I said he can play. I didn't say he was a great defender.
No, he's not even a good defender. That's why the Pelicans are not good.
There. I mean, other than that, do you maybe take a chance? Well, DeRozan's not a defender either. DeRozan say, do you possibly try to bring him in when he becomes a free agent? Do you maybe try getting a you maybe try and bringing in a Draymond and trade him for Simmons? Do you try to bring in a Wiggins or a Kelly Oubre or something like that? Like, I don't know. Maybe you try to sign Kelly Oubre because I think he was on the last year of his contract anyway.
There's only a couple of players that you can replace Ben Simmons with that would give you a chance, like Tatum, Brown,
Defensively,
Kawhi, Paul George.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a select few. And if you're not ready to gamble with Tobias Harris at small forward, then it's very interesting to think that you're going to just get rid of Ben Simmons.
Right. I mean, shoes, maybe you trade him for Paul George. Even though, there's that whole button heads between Paul George and Doc Rivers, that probably wouldn't work. But I'm
Oh
saying,
yeah, you don't want that back in. He did
right?
cheat on his sister, his daughter. I mean, that's gotta be awkward.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So the draft, you're gonna have to look at the draft because other than that, you're not really gonna find anybody that's gonna be a 3-and-D guy. We thought Thibault could be a 3-and-D guy, but yeah, it hasn't really panned out.
It's the toughest position to find.
Yeah, definitely is. So
And they're on top. What are they? The first team in the East right now.
Yep. After this
yeah,
win.
with that win tonight, they're 11-5,
So
122, 110 over the
I guess
Celtics.
you got to see the way the season pans out and what happens in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But I think they were top in the East for a while, early last year too. Obviously,
That team was a mess though. Like Horford, it was just there was no spacing. It was just a bad team.
right, and it's tough for them. It's tough for them to beat the Celtics. I mean, they beat them 2 times now with no Tatum, but when he comes back, and the Celtics are at full strength, it's just tough for the Sixers to beat them. So
This is the first year you've seen Embiid really take on that dominating role where
he's
he feels
dominating
like
for
he's the
sure.
best out there every night. And
Yeah,
he's willing to put up numbers every night.
right, definitely. So I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see. The Celtics, the Sixers, best years to try to win a championship are gonna be closing soon. You got
Are they?
this year.
How old is Embiid?
Beats 26.
What is in Simmons? 24, 25?
Simmons is like 22, 23. But I'm just saying, as far as like having other guys come around them and, everybody believe in the
Yeah.
process, people are going to start getting weary of it if they're not, but getting to the second round, you know?
Well, I mean, they have to get past the second round for sure. Then you're gonna have really question marks.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if they're going to be able to get past the second round.
Who's gonna stop them?
The Celtics can give them problems depending if they have to match up against Brooklyn. We got to see how that's going to pan out. Obviously, not the Raptors this year. If Miami gets their act together, maybe.
I think there's just two teams. The Nets you don't know about.
Oh, and the Bucks. I forgot about the
the
Bucks and
Bucks.
Giannis.
Yeah.
Although they do tend to give Giannis trouble,
Yeah.
with stopping it. But you just never know. You never know if say, Drew Holiday just gets hot all of a sudden, or Brook Lopez decides, oh, I'm gonna start hitting threes and drop 20 for the whole series. You know what I mean? They average 20 for the series. It's tough. So we'll
I
see.
just think there's way too much criticism too. I mean, people get bored, I guess, and just kind of want to tear things apart and stuff like that, and just frustrated why things aren't working the way they are. But a
Right.
lot of teams don't win a championship.
It's true. It's only
A lot
one
of
team
teams,
that wins
I mean, they
championship.
only go so far. I mean,
I mean, if you look at it, for the past 20 years, there's been 4 teams in the West that have won the championship. That's the Spurs, the Lakers, the Warriors, and the Mavericks. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So, and really 5 of them have gone to the finals with the Thunder, who went and never won. Eastern Conference, it's kind of switched up. I mean, you have the Heat, the Raptors, the Cavs, Detroit, Celtics, Pistons, and you even have the Sixers go to the finals back with AI. The Pacers went one year with Reggie Miller and Jermaine O'Neal. I'm sure I'm missing a team. Yeah, no, that's it. So definitely more room in the East, for teams going to the finals and maybe a team, you know, for lack of better words, lucking up and winning it because most of the time we think the Western Conference teams are going to win. So being in the East, you got to see something from Embiid, Simmons, from that Sixers team to get to the finals at least, and have a chance of winning when they get there. Because obviously they're probably going to meet LeBron and the Lakers, or next year if Clay comes back, the Warriors. Those are the 2 most likely teams, and we may be able to throw in the Clippers there, just depending on how their chemistry comes together. So
yeah.
we'll see. But want to move on to last topic we have, or second to last topic. It's that fight tomorrow, guys. McGregor Poirier. Number 2.
Hard dose.
Yep. They're trading proper number 12 and hot sauce.
What? Hot
That's
sauce from Man One's gonna be there?
no. I guess
What?
Poirier has a company that makes hot sauce or something like that.
Yeah, he brought it to the weigh-in.
He brought it to the weigh-in. And
Get
traded
that clout,
McGregor.
son.
Yep. And they're best of friends now. I won't say best of friends, but they have a lot of respect for each other now as opposed to the first fight. You know, I think they're both excited to have a great fight. McGregor has much respect for Poirier now, and he's kind of mellowed out, and Poirier respects him. So obviously going to be a great bout.
You think it's gonna be a great bout?
I think it's going to be a
Most
great
def.
bout. Poirier weighed in at 156. McGregor weighed in right at 155. I think McGregor will win because in the first fight, he hit Poirier, which was kind of like here close to the back of the head. And that's what
Mhm.
Poirier was kind of complaining about, is he thought McGregor hit him in the back of the head in the third round. Was it third round? No, first round. That was the first round of that fight. So now I think this one will go a little bit farther with Poirier had to become a champion. He's a little bit more experienced. McGregor looks good. He's probably in some of his better years coming down the stretch towards the ending part of his career. He's still in, part of his prime. I think McGregor wins fourth round if it doesn't go the distance, because it could go the distance. But I think McGregor wins fourth round by TKO.
Ooh. On the feet, the hand, submission.
I think hand. I don't think it'll be a submission. I think he'll catch him.
So Poirier's gotten better since that time he faced him the first time.
Yeah, Poirier's gotten better. He became a champion of I forget which division. The cut man knows all this.
It's lightweight. It's
Of lightweight.
Mhm.
Okay. Of lightweight.
I was wondering because
He's a number 2 contender right now since Khabib retired. Hey,
Yeah, a couple months ago.
Yeah, just reading the analysis of the first fight because I didn't watch the first one. It was kind of like that Poirier was real predictable, then he was real slow. That you can read him really well.
right.
So I was wondering how's he gonna be different than he was back then?
Right. I think what he'll try to do this time is he'll try to strike with McGregor. If he realizes it's not working, then he'll try to take him down. Because he's a little bit bigger than McGregor is, even though they're weighing the same, but he's a little bit bigger than McGregor is. So we'll see.
Okay, because I mean you heard a little bit of rumblings like this is an easy fight for McGregor. It's gonna be easy to walk through.
Yeah, somebody said
Is that true?
third round or something like that.
Do you buy into that?
I mean, I'd say fourth round he'll stop him. I don't think it'll be as easier as McGregor thinks. I mean, if it is, then I would say, yo, Khabib, come back and fight McGregor for the second time. That's what I'll say. So
If McGregor's gonna struggle in the first round because this is kind of like his first real fight since taking a break, so his first round is gonna be kind of tough. And Poirier's probably gonna come out pretty strong in the first round. So
right, I agree.
If he can get past the first round, then I would say submission in third round.
So you're going Poirier too?
No, McGregor third round.
McGregor, okay. So 2 McGregors.
Yep. McGregor, what you think?
I mean, he's my guy. I'm just going off of who I like more.
Right. I got you.
Who I'd rather see win. But I just wondering, just from reading about the first fight, and just trying to see if we're gonna get a better fight this game.
Mm-hmm. And what do you kind of think, Greg? Give me your thoughts.
I mean, I don't see why McGregor just doesn't walk through him. I haven't paid attention enough to Poirier's career and see what areas he's gotten better in that's going to give McGregor trouble. Obviously, McGregor's kind of trying to get back into it, if he can reach an elite level again. Obviously, I just blindly faith in McGregor just winning, just outright winning, just going through him. And I'm pretty sure, it's going to be a knockout.
Okay. I like it.
I love knockouts.
True. So yeah, it's gonna be a good bout. Really, really good bout. I'm excited for it. Last thing we got, guys, we've been doing this little series called Under the Scope. This week we have the sports town of Cleveland, right? Of Cleveland. So we have the Indians, baseball, the Cavaliers, basketball, the Browns, football. Um, Greg, C Mac, give me your thoughts of the state of sports in Cleveland right now, because obviously since LeBron is gone, the Cavs took a hit. The Browns weren't doing so well until recent, this year, where they went to the playoffs, won a playoff game to the second round. Baker's looking better. They got Hunt, Chubb playing well. The Indians just went to the World Series 2 years ago, and they ended up losing to I forgot who they lost to. It was 2 or 3 years ago. Check that for me, C-Mac. And I don't think they had the greatest season this
It was the
past year.
Browns, right?
No, the Indians.
Indians. Oh, okay.
Yeah, who did the Indians lose to in the World Series a couple of years ago?
Um,
Um, but Greg, please start. What do you kind of see in the um, sports city of Cleveland? What do they need to do to kind of get back on the right track? Because I mean, obviously for Cleveland, the Browns, they have coaching Stefanski. They drafted Miles Garrett. They seem to be a more exciting team than they have in the past. It seems to be
Yeah.
hope, and that the Cavs as well, trying to build up a young core.
I think the Browns are doing a good job, building up their foundation around, Baker. It's just in football, if you don't have a great QB or a very good QB, it's hard to win a championship like that. And I think they're waiting for the development of Mayfield, whether or if he's going to be the guy himself. Some of us think he is, some of us think he's probably not the guy. They obviously rely on their run game and their defense, and they're keep building their squad up, and it looks good. But ultimately, it comes down to, do you believe in Baker Mayfield, and if you do, are you going to pay him elite money? Because that kind of when your team starts to decline, because you can start making financial decisions. Do I cut this guy? Do I keep this guy? And then that's when things can go wrong for you. But right now, when he's still on a rookie contract, they're able to add talent, do the draft, do free agency, and they're kind of cultivating. And you just wish he was there already, because you had Odell, you had Landry, and it was very questionable. Why can't you get these guys the ball? Like, you have some of the best talent wide receiver. Why can't, and tight end? You have multiple tight ends. You have multiple receivers. Why can't the offense be more explosive? Why does it have to be just the run game and defense?
Right. No, I agree. Um, the fact that they weren't really able to incorporate Odell in their system was kind of tough, because if they would have had him, obviously he got injured, but he and Baker were just never seemingly on the same page. Never really saw eye to eye, and that kind of sucked, because Odell obviously got traded out of Cleveland. I mean, out of New York, out of the Giants, because he still wanted to be, in New York, but they traded him. And then Landry said, "Okay, I'm gonna come join y'all." So it was like, "Okay, cool." Maybe they were boys back in college. Let's see if they're able to do something, but just weren't able to get on the same page with Baker. And obviously, Baker was going through his slumps, and now he's kind of picked it up. So it just depends on what Odell wants to do moving forward, if he wants to stay, or if Cleveland even wants to keep him. I just don't think that he and Baker have a good.
It sounds like him and Rashad Higgins have a better, chemistry
Yeah,
than him and Odell.
yeah. So
And then I don't even know how much longer Chubb has on his rookie contract, because they have Hunt locked up. I think they
Chubb
gave him an extension, but I think he's coming. Chubb might be coming up. So then
Chubb
I
has been in
don't
the
think.
league for 3 years now. Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
So I think he has one more player option, something along those lines.
Yeah, because then you make a decision. I mean, you already got Hunt locked up, so it doesn't make sense to lunk up another running back.
I would, because it's good to have a dual running back set what they have, but you need Chubb to be able to catch passes because he was dropping a lot of, he dropped a few good passes in the playoff game, which he would normally make over the season. So it's just like,
But what
having them
organization
both.
is going to be successful paying a quarterback and 2 running backs?
I feel you, but at the
I'm
same
sure
time,
Chubb's going to get like a look for a pretty good deal.
right. But at the same time, I would say that you don't really have to pay your wideouts that much right now, and they're still good enough to where you can get by. You know what I mean, and make good playoff runs. So, and I know Baker's coming upon his deal too. You got to see how much you're gonna pay him, because I don't think you would pay him top dollar. You know what I
You
mean?
have to. That's the way the market works. Someone's going to pay him $40 million.
I don't know if anybody really would though, because he just hasn't shown that type of
They
level
paid Kirk
until.
Cousins.
Yeah, well, I know that, but
They
Kirk
pay,
Cousins.
they pay these quarterbacks all the time. Derek Carr got a max deal. I mean, it's just like
Derek Carr was balling.
they just pay all these quarterbacks the amount they're worth every time.
Right. I mean, if you pay Baker 30 mil, okay.
I mean, we see Dak. Dak's going to get 40 mil from somebody.
Yeah, hopefully. But if you pay Baker 40 mil, you're out your mind. And Baker shouldn't even be looking for that contract because he just started playing well. Like it was on the cusp of him possibly getting replaced. He just started playing well. Chubb has been playing well. Hunt came back off a suspension, and he's been playing okay. So we'll see. We'll see.
They're going to have to make a decision. I think it comes down to, do you think Baker Mayfield's the guy, and do you want to build around him, or do you just want to keep the running back and the rest of the team in order and just get somebody else that you can find cheaply or in the draft?
Right. It's a big question that'll be looming on them.
And as Cowboys fans, we see what happens when you pay the wrong people. You can go down the toilet real quick.
Yeah. Don't get me frustrated.
And then NFL, not for long.
Yeah, for real.
So.
As far as the Cavaliers go, after losing LeBron and Kyrie, we just knew they weren't really gonna have a lot. Now Sexton was a great pickup to have, and it's exciting to see him with the team, but ultimately they got to figure out what they're gonna do with Drummond and McGee and Allen. I mean, they have a problem with some bigs right now. They need some guards and a wing player to really help them up. Okoro was a nice pickup. He's going to take a little time to grow. They just traded Kevin Porter Jr. to the Rockets because he was a distraction. If they would have had him, he would have been able to help them as well. That would have been your wing that you were kind of looking for. So now losing him, you just kind of got to see what you're how the team wants to go. See, Mac?
For the Cavaliers. Wait, no. I'm the Indians, right? Talk about the Indians.
Yeah, you have the Indians. I'm sorry. Go ahead. With the Indians, go ahead. My apologies.
Yeah, I think you touched on a little bit about the Indians in the World Series. The last time they were in the World Series before 2016 was in 97. They lost. But they're kind of around or kind of like on the upward momentum of coming off like 2 rebuilding phases.
They lost to the Astros and the ALCS. Is that right? I know they got. Was it this past year or was it 2 years ago? Because I know they made it far. I thought they made it to the World Series. I know they lost in the Game 7 to somebody.
They lost in the World Series in 2016, and then
2016. Okay,
yeah, that's what I was saying.
That's what it was. Okay,
yeah, they lost to the Yankees this past year in the wild card.
Okay, got it. Continue.
So yeah, they're coming off for 2 rebuilding phases. So they're kind of they're figuring out themselves right now, losing to the Yankees and like in the wild card. But they've been making some changes with managers. This new GM Chris Antonetti trying to figure out what they're going to do with their team. I mean, realistically, if you're looking at the team in comparison to everybody else, they're all comparing themselves to the Dodgers and saying if everybody's made enough moves to keep up with the Dodgers. And from what people are saying and what the stats look like, the Indians haven't made enough or made any, rather that. So, yeah, they're gonna have to do some upgrades. They made the last thing that they did was picked up Nick Rittigren for 1 year contract. You will see what he does this year, but yeah, draft good. And then the future, they're still kind of in the rebuilding phase, not real building, but like solidifying their team that they have now and rebuild or add more people around one of their main guys. I'm not too knowledgeable on who their main guy is right now. I haven't seen anybody that's their main, like this is our star, but I think it's Jose Ramirez. That's their star maybe, or Josh Naylor. So one of those two guys, I think that's their future.
Right. No, I agree. It's really like you said, who's gonna catch the Dodgers, Yankees, because the Yankees are in there, and then the Red Sox get in there from time to time. So I'm on the ALCS. It's tough. It's really tough. It really all depends on those couple of things. So yes. Any last words for any of the Cleveland teams? From either one of y'all. Any of y'all wanted to comment?
Yeah, I think the Cavs they're at the talent acquisition part. They need stars. And you're going to have to draft stars. You're not going to get anything in free agency. So you're going to have to draft players, possibly maybe even trade for somebody eventually. But you have to get, the name of the game was getting talent, right? Having some of the best talent, 2 top 10 players, if you're going to want to contend.
I agree. Well, I think that is gonna about do it, guys. It was a fun fun podcast. My mind is somewhere else. I apologize. Fun podcast. I meant the first with Cleveland, under the scope. And that's gonna be the show for today, guys. We thank you everybody for listening. Thank my dad for coming on and sharing his experience and knowledge. And as always, please follow Stats versus Facts Sports Talk on YouTube. And the Stats versus Facts Sports Talk. You don't got that VS. You listening to what, C-Mac?
That BS.
.fm.
.fm. That's right. Go follow us on the Stats versus Facts Sports Talk, or SVF Sports Talk rather, on Instagram and Twitter. And also go follow the brother show Spurs versus Everybody on Instagram and Twitter as well. We will be back, guys. As always, for my dad, for G-Reg, for C-Mac, it's been your boy Marsh. And we will catch y'all next time on that Stats versus Facts. Stats versus Facts. You know where we at on the Stats versus Facts. Yeah, my boy hella black. He on the Stats versus Facts. And you might get smacked by the Stats versus Facts.